Okay, let's dive into this. Today we're unpacking a fascinating story called The Hero's Journey of Buddy the Brave. Now, at first glance, you might just see a super charming children's storybook about a baby elephant. But actually, scratch that, it's way more than that. If we look a little closer, this story perfectly mirrors the epic, mythic framework of the classic hero's journey. It's kind of brilliant how it does this. Like any epic tale, we have to start in the ordinary world. For our guy Buddy, that world is deep in a lush, incredibly green jungle. I really want you to paint a vivid mental picture here. Imagine being totally surrounded by these massive, bright leafy trees with vibrant, colorful flowers just popping out of the greenery everywhere you look. And right smack in the middle of it all, that's our protagonist, a baby elephant named Buddy. He's got these ridiculously big, floppy ears and a huge, contagious smile. He is a tiny, incredibly happy hero, just totally in his element. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark visual contrast. Buddy is just completely dwarfed by his mom and dad. I mean, they are huge. And in his day-to-day life, his small size is honestly a constant limitation. When he stretches all the way up on his tiptoes to reach those delicious, juicy leaves on the trees, they're just out of reach, way too high. And while the giant adult elephants are out there in the river making these spectacular, massive rainbow splashes, our tiny Buddy tries his absolute best, but he really can only manage a cute little plip of a splash. So right off the bat, he's defined entirely by what he can't do, simply because he's so small. But, every hero's journey needs an inciting incident to kick off the real adventure, right? Well, here we have what we'll call the bouncy ball disaster. It starts on this absolutely beautiful, idyllic, sunny day in the jungle. A bunch of the animals, specifically a zebra, a giraffe, a little lion cub, and a monkey, are all just playing together. The absolute center of their universe right now is this massive, bright, rainbow-striped ball. It's a perfect scene of community harmony, which means it's just waiting to be completely disrupted. Boing! Just like that, the harmony is shattered. With one wild, crazy bounce, that brightly colored ball launches away from the group and completely vanishes into this small, dark opening in the rocks. Just picture how fast this happens. The ball is mid-bounce 1 second, and then bam, swallowed up by this tiny cave the next. The animals are literally frozen in their tracks. They're gasping, their eyes are wide with total shock. Their prized possession has just been lost to the darkness. And this brilliantly illustrates how a story builds conflict using the classic rule of three. We get this fantastic comedic tension as the jungle's mightiest residents step up to attempt a rescue. Step 1, the giraffe tries to reach it, but gets its incredibly long neck comically wedged right at the cave opening. Step 2, the hippo tries to push its way in, but honestly just ends up with its bottom sticking out of the cave, legs frantically kicking in the air. Then step 3, the lion steps up, the king of the jungle, right? But he can only paw completely uselessly at the tiny hole while his tail swishes around in frustration. Every single one of them fails for the exact same reason. They are simply way too big. Which brings us to a dramatic turning point, the ultimate crisis. The animals cry out, "Oh no, who will get our ball?" This right here marks the deep despair of the narrative. The animals are huddled together in total defeat. You can literally see the sadness painted on their faces, and that ball is nowhere in sight. The conventional strength, the height, the sheer power of the jungle's absolute largest animals, it's proven completely useless against this specific obstacle. But right in the thick of all that total despair, a tiny voice rings out across the huddled group. "I can try." It's Buddy. He steps forward with this incredibly fierce, determined look on his face. The rest of the massive herd turns to him. They're entirely surprised, but suddenly you can feel this little glimmer of hope. Our small, floppy-eared hero has officially accepted the call to adventure. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this leads right into the ultimate ordeal. But he takes a huge, deep breath, steels his nerves, and approaches that tiny cave opening. And as the story highlights, he squeezes right in, fitting perfectly through that small gap as if it was literally made just for him. He's officially leaving the bright, safe, familiar jungle and crossing the threshold straight into the dark unknown. Well, here, we really need to redefine what it actually means to be brave in the context of this story. Because bravery, it isn't always about physical dominance or making the biggest splash in the river. True bravery is stepping into a dark, snug cave when you are small and moving forward even when you're completely surrounded by these cool, imposing blue shadows. You can see Buddy's eyes are wide open in the dark, so he is absolutely aware of the danger, but they remain totally resolute and determined. He just presses on, guided only by this faint, colorful glow waiting in the distance.
And then we hit the climactic moment. There it was. Buddy finally discovers the lost treasure. He reaches out, wrapping his tiny trunk right around the glowing, colorful ball. Instantly, that dark, snug environment of the cave is completely transformed. It's suddenly filled with this warm, comforting light radiating from his prize. The great ordeal has been officially conquered by the absolute smallest member of the herd. So, with the prize secured, our tiny hero makes his incredibly victorious return. Buddy squeezes his way back out through that narrow rock passage and just pops right out of the cave, totally triumphant. He bursts back into the bright sunlight, holding that brightly colored striped ball high in the air for all the other animals to see. It's absolutely brilliant. He just achieved exactly what the giants of the jungle couldn't pull off.
The reaction from the ordinary world is explosive. Hooray for Buddy! All the animals cheer. It is a deeply joyful, wildly colorful celebration. We're talking bold, bright colors everywhere, flower petals literally flying through the air as these massive animals surround their tiny savior. This is the ultimate validation from his peers, and it beautifully signals the successful completion of his epic journey. So the crucial point is that in any hero's journey, the hero always brings back an elixir. An ultimate prize or a profound realization. For Buddy, sure, he successfully recovered the lost striped ball. And yeah, he gained the unwavering respect of the entire herd. But the real elixir? Buddy realized that being small wasn't a curse at all. Being small was exactly what made him special. The story resolves so beautifully with Buddy standing proud at the center of the herd, bathed in this incredibly warm golden sunset light. And that night, finally knowing his true worth, he curls up beside his family and falls asleep with the absolute biggest, happiest smile under a starry night sky. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought, really a question, inspired by Buddy's journey. What perceived weakness do you possess that might actually be your hidden superpower? Just like Buddy's small size completely shifted from being a daily frustration to his absolute greatest asset, maybe the very thing you think is holding you back is exactly what makes you uniquely capable of saving the day. Really think about that. Keep it in mind the next time you face a massive obstacle. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.